Hello, and welcome back. We have changed my place of filming because my art cart is getting ridiculously dirty. Anyway, welcome back. I am Nikki, and today, why did I say it like that? I am Nikki. We're gonna read Chapter 2 of Still Into You by StableBiscuit20 on Archive of Our Own. It is the BakuDeku fanfic that you guys are absolutely in love with, so let's just jump right into it. This chapter is called When It Rains, which is a phenomenal Paramore song. You should definitely listen to it. Bakugo hardly slept a wink that night, laying awake on his futon, staring at the ceiling. Something about the fact that the man that he'd been dreaming about his whole life was sleeping one wall away was eating him alive. When the sun finally began to emerge from the horizon and he could hear the birds chirping, he jumped out of bed. Thank God it's my day off, Bakugo thought. He picked up his cell phone and looked at the time. 6:30 a.m. Katsuki immediately decided it was late enough to call someone and dialed Kirishima. A groggy voice answered after a few rings. Bakugo? Is that you? Why are you calling so early? Is there a villain we need to fight or something? It's our day off, man. Bakugo felt a smidge of guilt for waking up his sidekick after a full day of hero work yesterday. But what else are sidekicks for? Kirishima, I saw Deku. Ichiro's voice was clearing up as he sat up and replied, Like at work? Because if you did, you can call the association and they'll adjust the schedules. No, shut up, no. He's my neighbor, Kirishima. He lives one wall over from me, that stupid motherfucker that's been singing in the shower all the time. At the revelation, Kirishima paused for a moment, then burst into laughter. Bakugo could hear rustling in the background of the phone call as Kirishima pulled himself out of bed and stumbled across the hall to his roommate's door. Kaminari, wake up! Yes now, come on man, listen to me, get this! Bakugo's stupid singing neighbor? That's Izuku Midoriya. Bakugo sighed loudly as Kirishima cackled in the receiver. My bad, bro. I don't mean to make fun of you, but it's just your luck. Kirishima paused. Well, is that a good thing? Like, did you get in his pants? Bakugo felt his face heat up at the idea and he sputtered. No, weirdo, of course not. I'm over him anyways. His palms began to crackle loudly as he ran to the bathroom and tried to run them underwater. Stupid hands, always giving me away. Katsuki, I hear your hands. You're not over it. And if you were, you wouldn't be calling me at 6:30 in the morning. Come over, let's talk about it. Kirishima's voice softened, like he was trying to coax Bakugo into talking about his feelings. Bakugo and Midoriya, sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S. Kaminari's voice echoed in the background, and there was a sudden silence when Bakugo heard a loud thump. Ow, why'd you have to hit me with your stupid rock hands? Kaminari whined. Ignore him, Bakugo. Come over, I'll be here. The phone call ended with a quick click, and Bakugo looked down at his phone. His phone background taunted him. It hadn't changed in 6 years. A picture of him and Izuku on a sunny day at UA. Izuku had put bunny ears behind Bakugo's head, who was frowning like always. Izuku had a huge smile on his face, like always. Katsuki felt butterflies as he glanced at the photo wistfully. Maybe I'm not over it. After a quick shower, in which he totally did not think about Izuku Midoriya's tanned body, Bakugo pulled on a black t-shirt and pants and slipped on his shoes. He slid his hands over his pockets and headed out the front door, locking it behind him. As he turned around in the apartment hallway, he realized that it was around 8 a.m. Oh, Deku will be leaving for work in any minute. He picked up the pace and turned the corner, trying to avoid seeing his neighbor, but it was no use. Kachan, wait up! A bright voice said from behind as he bounded to catch up. Bakugo sighed and stopped. Hey Midoriya, I'm heading over to Kirishima, so I can't talk long. Kirishima? That's great! I talk to Kirishima and Kaminari on occasion. That's so cool that he's your sidekick now. You guys make a great team. Izuku babbled on, his usual excited personality coming out. Bakugo looked at him, amused that a grown man, who was easily one of the most attractive people he'd ever seen, could still be the same dork he grew up with. But as he processed what Izuku said, he felt his blood run cold. Wait. Did you say you talked to Kaminari? Bakugo felt small jolts in his palm and clenched his fists over to hide them. He felt betrayed for some reason. Katsuki wasn't sure if he was more jealous that Kaminari was able to contact Midoriya or if he was more angry that Kaminari was talking to the love of his life behind his back. Wait, he's not the love of your life. Get it together, idiot. Yeah, of course. I keep up with all our old classmates, Midoriya exclaimed, and that was enough to really set Bakugo off. He gritted his teeth as his arms shook, attempting to control the sparks flying off his hands. Katsuki took a cold look at Midoriya and spat. Is that so? Well, I never heard a word. Before Izuku could respond, Bakugo kept walking, not bothering to turn around. Izuku's smile faltered, and his chest hurt. He knew he would easily be able to catch up with Bakugo. His quirk made him unbelievably fast, but he wasn't sure if he wanted to hear what the blonde might say if he did. Kept up with everyone, huh? Deku. Didn't even bother to keep up with me, though. After kissed me too. Bakugo's throat tickled as tears threatened to well up in his eyes, but he would be damned if his Zuki Midoriya made him cry. Bakugo replaced his sadness with rage and quickly climbed up the stairs leading to his best friend's place. I'm going to kill him, Katsuki thought, and his stupid Pikachu roommate. As he stomped to Kirishima's apartment and pounded on the front door, it quickly opened and Kirishima raised his hands. Whoa, dude, don't break down our door. You break it, you buy it. One glance at Bakugo told him it wasn't the time to be messing around. He shepherded the blonde aside, casting a look at Kaminari that said, don't you dare make a joke. Ichiro cleared his throat awkwardly as Bakugo silently plopped himself on their couch. So, you want a Coke or something? Bakugo merely grunted in response and Kirishima handed him a soda. So, what happened? Katsuki's eyes darkened and he spun his head to look at Kirishima dead in the eyes. I heard you've been talking to Izuku. Ichiro gulped, looking at Kaminari for backup, who struggled and darted from the room, closing his bedroom door behind him. Kirishima thought, yeah, man, we all work together, you know? Sometimes we would go out for, like, drinks after a fight. A couple of times we met up for lunch just to catch up, but nothing happened, bro. Seriously, it's all ground zero. This and Kachan that. It's not like I'm into the guy or anything. The sound of tiny explosions continues. Kaminari's words didn't seem to be calming Bakugo down at all. Bakugo did his best to take deep breaths, and his whole body felt like shaking. He was betrayed, angry, sad, and deep down inside of himself, jealous. So unbelievably jealous. It was like everyone else in the world was getting to see Deku except for him. Izuku was doing hero work, saving lives, kissing babies, rescuing damsels, having lunch, and even drinks with his best friends, but Katsuki didn't even get a chance to speak to the guy. It was no secret that Deku was unbelievably more popular than Bakugo was as a hero and in regular life. Izuku had a perfect reputation. He was kind, funny, humble, and everything a hero was supposed to be. He didn't have a girlfriend, which the Hero Association loved because it means that he's Japan's most eligible bachelor every year. Izuku would stop to help ducks across the road and was regularly spotted volunteering at soup kitchens. Although Bakugo could rival Izuku in power, he could never match him in popularity. Everything Izuku was, Bakugo was the opposite. Bakugo was known for losing his cool at press events, blowing up on reporters, literally, in particular for being gay. It was no secret that Bakugo would pick up men at bars. After realizing his apartment was a revolving door for different guys, the paparazzi stopped caring because they were never able to get a scoop about Ground Zero's boyfriend. As a result, the girls stopped fawning over him, and the Hero Association gave him many, many lectures about his public image. Bakugo buried his head in his hands, and Kirishima sat down and put an arm around the blonde's shoulders. I'm sorry, man. I should have told you. You're my best friend, and that was f***ed up of me. I wanted you to get over him. I didn't want to make it harder for you. Bakugo sighed, looking defeated, and Kirishima's eyebrows knitted together in worry. Anger, yes. Frustration, sure. But defeated was never a look he'd seen on Katsuki's face. Part of Ichiro wished that Bakugo would blast him across the apartment or yell at him some more. He told me he's been keeping up with everyone. Bakugo's voice cracked, speaking barely above a whisper. Why didn't you keep up with me? Kirishima had never seen his partner look this vulnerable, and his heart ached. I don't know, bro. I really don't know. So there's gonna be 2 chapters in this video because chapter 2 is just a wee bit too short for me to have just one video for. This chapter is called Caught in the Middle, and I know that because I've read the story one too many times. Kirishima did his best to distract Bakugo that day, inviting him out to lunch and taking him to the arcades afterwards. Even in Strikos, people recognized him and Bakugo as 2 of the top heroes in Japan. Thanks to Katsuki's reputation, however, few people approached the duo, preferring to stare, mouths agape from afar. As night fell over the city, Kirishima yawned. Maybe it's time to head home, Katsuki. What do you think? They were walking down a bustling street in the red light district, and Bakugo jerked his thumb to gesture at the bar behind him. I think I want to get a drink, Bakugo replied. His mood had seemed to improve over the course of the day, and Kirishima wanted to keep his best friend happy, so he relented. Fine, we can stop by the bar, but if you get too drunk, I'm dragging your ass home and putting you to bed. No fighting me this time, please, Kirishima said in his serious face. He thought back on the last time he'd forced Bakugo home and into bed. The blonde had kept babbling about Deku all night, and when he finally picked a fight with random patrons and got them kicked out of the bar, Kirishima was responsible for getting him home safely. The hero could still put up a hell of a fight, even drunk as hell, and Kirishima didn't leave Bakugo's apartment without a few burn holes in his t-shirt from quarreling with the guy. Thank God I have stone for skin. Bakugo held his hands up innocently. Just a few drinks, Ichiro. No worries. Kirishima knew better than to believe that, but sighed and nodded. They walked into the bar and ordered a few rounds of drinks. A beer for Kirishima and a whiskey for Katsuki. The duo made casual conversation, and Ichiro was happy to see his friend smiling and talking boisterously. But when Katsuki thought Kirishima wasn't looking, he asked the bartender for 2 shots and downed them. That sealed the deal for Ichiro. Bakugo definitely had something planned. Kirishima was right. Katsuki was absolutely up to no good. No more than 15 minutes after Bakugo doing the shots, Kirishima went to the bathroom and came back to the blonde in the corner, hovering over none other than Shoto Todoroki. Katsuki was placing his hand on the small of the other hero's back, whispering flirtatiously in his ear. Whatever Bakugo said made the half-and-half man redden, smile coyly, and shift where he stood. Kirishima groaned. Why am I responsible for this hole again? Ijiro wandered up to the pair, snatching his best friend by the arm. Excuse me, Todoroki. I'll bring him right back. Good to see you again. It's been so long. Kirishima smiled at him blindingly, and then turned to Bakugo, hissing in his ear. What the f do you think you're doing? Bakugo shrugged nonchalantly. Getting laid, what does it look like? Is this the best choice, Katsuki? Isn't he very, very good friends with Midoriya? Kirishima's eyes narrowed questioningly. He knew when Bakugo was scheming. You could see it in his best friend's face. Bakugo's eyes sparkled with lust, or maybe even a hint of evil, and he smiled bitterly. Oh? He said, feigning innocence. Is he? I had no idea. Bakugo, Kirishima said, accusatorily. This is a terrible idea. Todoroki isn't just friends with Midoriya, he's almost as famous as Midoriya himself. There is no way you're leaving this bar without somebody spotting you with him. But before he could say anything, Bakugo had already disappeared into the crowd. You've got to be kidding me. I'm so done with his shit, Kirishima thought. After arriving at the other hero's side, Katsuki smirked at Todoroki. Sorry about the intrusion. We just had to talk about work. Stole a glance across the bar and made eye contact with his best friend, who flipped him off and stomped out of the bar. Bakugo felt his phone vibrate in his pocket and he was sure it was Ijiro giving him a piece of his mind. Oh, no problem. I totally understand. Duty calls, right? I haven't seen you in a while, Bakugo. You look great. Todoroki smiled, the alcohol making his cheeks an adorable shade of pink. Bakugo grinned devilishly. Not as good as you. He paused and leaned into Todoroki's side, allowing his lips to brush against the shell of his ear as he whispered, Shoto. Todoroki visibly shivered at the use of his first name. Too easy. Kirishima was right. Again. When Bakugo pulled Todoroki by the hand out of the bar and led him to his apartment, a couple of fangirls spotted them and snapped some pictures. It didn't help that it was barely 6 o'clock at night when they left the bar, so the picture was clear as day. By the time Bakugo had sufficiently pounded Todoroki into the mattress, it was about 8 p.m., and they were the top trend on every single social media. What a mood. She doesn't ship it. I'm just kidding. Todoroki sighed as he showed Bakugo his Twitter feed and Instagram. Hashtag Todobaku was the #1 in multiple countries, and Bakugo resisted the urge to laugh out loud. If only they knew. The blonde glanced at his phone on his bedside table and considered picking it up to check his own social media, but decided not to and watched Todoroki redress. Todoroki slipped on his t-shirt from Bakugo's floor. Can I wear this? Mine is stained. He held up a stained shirt, as if to prove it. Sure, I don't care. Bakugo's phone continued to vibrate. The phone had been buzzing for hours, and the blonde ignored it. His phone would be blowing up for a couple of days after this. Katsuki was sure he wouldn't hear the end of it from Ijiro and Kaminari, much less his mom, who texted him every time she saw him in the news for sleeping with a new guy, begging him to settle down and bring home a nice boy. The hero leaned his head back into his pillow, shutting his eyes. Todoroki looked over at Bakugo, his face ashamed. That was nice. Bakugo nodded, now mentioning that he spent the entire time closing his eyes and pretending Todoroki was Midoriya. But, Todoroki continued, causing Bakugo to lift his head and raise an eyebrow. We aren't doing that again. I can't do this to Izuku again. I'm sure he'll be pissed at me about the stupid Todobaku hashtag too. Can't do this to Izuku? What do you mean? Are you guys dating or something? Hearing Deku's name piqued the blonde's interest. No, nothing like that. It just isn't fair to me to sleep with you. I should go back before he sees me. Before Bakugo could ask Todoroki to elaborate, the half-and-half man had slipped out of the front door of his apartment. What the f did he mean by that? Whatever, at least he's gone before Deku gets home from work. Headed out into the hallway to grab his mail, wearing nothing but boxers and an open button-down. As he grabbed his fan mail, there was always a little bit, and his bills from the mail slot, he returned and came face to face with none other than Izuku Midoriya. Izuku's eyes were red and puffy, and he stopped in his tracks when he saw Bakugo. Oh, it's home early. You're home early, Deku, Bakugo mumbled, glancing down at his outfit. Do I look like I'm... Oh god, I do. Don't I? Bakugo reached a hand up, attempting to smooth his hair, and he held the mail to conveniently hide the stain on his shirt. What are you doing here? Izuku whispered, his voice cracking. I just came out here to get my mail from my fans. I had a rough night. I thought it might cheer me up. Bakugo's eyes were full of concern as he approached Izuku. Bad day at work? Bakugo asked questioningly. Izuku's eyes shot down to the shirt the blonde was wearing, and the sadness in his eyes was replaced with a fiery anger. Midoriya chuckled bitterly. I guess you could say that. He grabbed the mail and walked to his apartment. Before he closed the door behind him, he turned back to Katsuki and spat, a voice full of venom. By the way, I like your shirt. In fact, that it has a stain is icing on the cake of the fact that it belongs to Todoroki. And with that, the door was slammed behind him. Katsuki was, for the second time in 2 days, left in the hallway outside of Midoriya's apartment stunned. As he gathered himself and walked into his apartment, he dropped his mail on the table and went to grab his phone. When he typed in his passcode, it felt like his heart fell out of his 5 messages from Deku. Hey Kacchan, I'm getting off of work early today. Do you want to go out tonight? I saw your shoes outside your door when you got home. Are you here? I saw there's another pair too. If Hiroshima's over, let me know. I want to say hi. I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings this morning, Kacchan. After we graduated, I was too busy with hero work to remember to text anybody back. I would open up all my texts and forget to respond, and I never meant to ignore you. By the time I got the nerve to talk to you, I heard you didn't want to work with me anymore, so I figured you didn't want to talk to me either. Are you there? We don't have to go out. I ordered dinner, so if you just want to come over and talk. And hey, are those shoes outside your door Todoroki's? Never mind, you sound busy. I'll leave you alone. Bakugo glanced down at his shirt. He was wearing Todoroki's stupid navy button-down. Oh, wasn't that a great chapter? Doesn't that just rip your heart out? So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, if you did enjoy the video, give it a little thumbs up. You know, we always love those. Thoroughly sad. I've already read this and I know exactly how it ends, but it still makes me sad every time I read it. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit of angst for y'all. Remember to stay safe, drink water, and do your homework. Comment down below what you want to see me do on here. I know you guys want to see a Walmart vlog, which I will probably do if I learn to not wake up at 1 p.m. and actually get up at a normal time. I love you so much. You are absolutely wonderful, and I'm so glad you are a part of my life. Bye! Alexa, what does COAX spell?
C-O-X spells cox.
Oh. Do you want to cuddle? 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 Oh, she don't want to cuddle. Okay.